This is the Admok M400. About 6 months ago, I posted a pretty glowing review of this model, and unfortunately my opinion on it has changed over time. During my initial review, I said this: the grip section does unscrew from the barrel, and I was surprised to see that there is no O-ring between these two components. When I first got this pen, I did find a little bit of leakage between these two, and I wish that they would have included an O-ring just for extra protection. I ended up adding some silicone grease to these threads, and that has worked as a proper seal, at least in the month or so that I've owned this pen. And I am pleased to report that over the course of time, I have not seen any leakage between the grip section and the barrel, but I have run into a few more issues with this pen, and most of them are related to the threads on this grip. I find that the threads do not do a sufficient job securing the cap in place, and more often than not, when I go to pick up this pen, the cap is loose. That is not an issue that I have on the Pelican M200 or M400, and I think it has to do with how these threads were machined. I'll throw some B-roll footage of it here so you can see it in more detail. The Pelican's threads have kind of a chamfered edge at the top, and the Admok's threads just simply fade away. Besides that, I also have an issue with the threads being on this removable grip section instead of the barrel, and that issue came to light just the other day. You see, there was some ink that dripped onto these threads, and that ink dried while the pen was capped. That dried up ink ended up acting as a sealant, which made it so that when my wife went to remove the cap on the pen, the grip section came with it, and she was left with an open barrel, which unfortunately created a pretty inky mess. As we work our way down on the pen, I also noticed that there is quite a bit of discoloration on this clear seal. It's only an issue that you see on this variant of the pen because it is a demonstrator model. I have tried soaking this seal in both pen flush as well as soapy water, and unfortunately that color seems to be sticking with it. And then lastly, when I went to fill up this pen recently, I noticed that the knob just continues to spin in place. Sure enough, it has completely separated from this pen, and I was kind of surprised to see this metal sleeve. I'm not quite sure why Admok decided to make that a separate piece. Typically on piston fillers, the notches that you see on this metal sleeve are just machined into the knob itself. But this should be a pretty easy fix. I'll probably apply some Loctite glue to this sleeve, and hopefully that will hold these two components in place. But considering all of these issues that I've had with this pen, I unfortunately no longer recommend it. I do see some value in it if you want to purchase this pen. I think it's great that it has this wonderful Schmidt-made nib. And then also, if you're curious about trying out a Pelican M200 or M400, this lets you try that form factor at a much more affordable price. But personally, I would probably just seek out a used one if you can't bear the sticker price on the original thing. So I hope that you found this follow-up video informative and useful, and I just want to say thank you for watching.